Alright guys, me and Theo are here today. We're gonna do another video about some pool cleaning, some pool maintenance. You gotta do this a couple of times a year. This is cleaning the cartridge filters for one. And then the second thing we're gonna do is clean the salt cell because we have a salt cell pool. So today me and Theo are gonna show you how to do both of those and show you just a couple tools that you need. Not too much stuff today. It's a pretty simple job, it's just kind of time consuming. All right guys, here's some of the tools that we need. It's not much at all, like I said. You're gonna need a big pipe wrench to undo the salt cell. You're gonna need a socket wrench. My pool filter requires 19 millimeters. We're gonna be dealing with some acid today, so you're gonna wanna have some gloves for protection. Got a measuring cup. Got one of these nice bases. These things are really convenient for your salt cell when you're cleaning your salt cell because it will build up full calcium, and this base is really handy to keep it nice and clean. And then lastly we have our acid, so very abrasive stuff, so you definitely want to be cautious around that. All right guys, we are back at the pool system over here itself. The first thing we want to do is go to the circuit breaker over here and turn on it to surface mode here. That way nothing's gonna kick on. You're not gonna get this thing shooting back water at you. All right, and then what we want to do is going to start turning some of these valves. Here's our main pool valve here. We want to turn it off. We definitely don't want any water coming back at us. If you have a spa, you might have to turn your spa off as well. So here is the valve for the spa. So turn that one off, and then we have, I believe, this last valve over here to turn off. This one right here. That should do it. That should be all of our 3 valves that are going to turn off the water so we can open up this bad boy. All right, the next thing you're going to want to do is there's a little red valve at the very top of your filter. You're going to want to slowly release the pressure on that valve before you unscrew anything. And I'm going to go ahead and start releasing that pressure out right now. Release some of that pressure. And then what you want to do, there is one more screw at the very base of the filter, and we're going to unscrew that to drain all of the water out of the filter.
It smells weird out here.
Probably just pool water.
My hair's really hot.
It's so sunny. It's a beautiful sunny day.
It's like burning my hand.
All right guys, it's almost done draining. As you can tell, it's getting a little low, but the water is super dirty. It's the tail end of pollen season here in Georgia, and that water is quite yellow. So just about finished draining. Now we're gonna take the socket wrench with our 19 millimeter socket and open it up and see how dirty these cartridges are. All right guys, let's open this thing up. It is done draining. We're just gonna take our socket wrench and open it right up. Pretty easy process. That's a super long bolt.
Super long bolt?
Yeah, isn't that right there?
Yeah.
All right, that's it. That's out. All right, let's open this, take this guy off. I think it's a big heavy piece of metal here.
Metal.
Oh yeah. Set it to the side. Alright. Now let's take a look at these bad boys. Oh yeah.
Those are dull teeth.
Yeah, you got that right.
Later on, I'm going to be washing them.
Alright. This stuff's quite yellow, guys. That is definitely the result of the pollen.
We could just leave it out here and let the bees eat all the pollen, and then we could wash it all off.
Let the bees eat the pollen. Nah, they want it fresh from the plant itself.
Oh.
Alright, here's the gasket. We're going to want to rinse this really good too, guys. Alright. Now comes the painstaking task of taking these one by one. Take a look at that. That thing is filthy. That is a result of old pollen season in Georgia.
I'm going to clean that.
Now we're going to have to do this one by one. And we're going to take our sweet time with this. These are going to take you about maybe 5 to 10 minutes each to clean each one of them. So take your sweet time, get each one of these crevices. I'll kind of show you a little technique and another tool to help you get inside each and every one of those.
We're going to wash the filter.
Yep.
And then we'll...
Yep, we're going to wash this guy. It's going to take a while. Theo, why don't you go ahead and spray it? You got to get real close, and you got to start from the top down. Like I said, it's pollen season in Georgia, and it is filthy, and it is gross, and it's all yellow. Take a look at all that. It's all pollen coming out of there, courtesy of our pine trees and all the other good stuff we got going on here in Georgia. So you can already see Theo just started spraying it. It's already coming a little clearer just from the first little batch. Theo, I think we're gonna have to turn the water a little bit more on, give it a little bit more power. Even when we clean it, it's still gonna have some stains on it, which is okay as long as all the dirt and grime is out of it. But that's about the best we're gonna be able to do. So we're gonna go through this a few times, and we'll show you the finished product. Now, this is some really great footage here. You can see how nasty it is when we go through, and you can see it on the bottom. You can see all the stuff that's coming on out here. I'll give you some stories here. So once you give it a quick spin, let's get to the other dirty side and show one more time. All right, this started here from the top. All right, take a look at this. This is kind of my first pass just to get all the main big debris out of it. But I'll be going through each one of these pleats kind of one by one and making sure it's nice and clean. So, like I said, it's going to take some time. All right, guys, we just got done cleaning one. You can see visually the dramatic difference between the one on the right that's been cleaned and the one that we still got to do. So take a look at all that gunk that's been built up due to our great pollen season here in Marietta. Isn't that right, Theo?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so Theo's gonna help out trying to clean that second one. We actually got some shade. It was getting a little too hot in that sunlight, so we're gonna do the rest of them, and we'll check back in when
Move location.
when the rest of them are done. Theo was dying to help out, you can see, so he really wanted to use that the hose. I can't blame him. It's kind of fun and relaxing, actually. Theo, how is it looking so far?
Good.
All right, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. All right, Theo, now we got the third one. Let's give it a go. Ideally, you want to get in between all those pleats, but see all that dirt just coming off of the initial. Yep.
Pleats are kind of shoes.
All right, Theo's back at it at the fourth and last one. You give him the first pass. don't worry, I went back through and I went through it a few more times so the water runs clear. That's kind of a good sign that you know it's clean after there's no more dirt coming out the bottom of that thing. But over there we got 3 nice and clean ones and 1 dirty one. All right guys, they're all cleaned up. Now before we put them back in, what we want to do is hose the inside of your container out and then hose the edge of it out as well as the gasket. If this stuff is dirty, you're definitely going to have a leak, and I've encountered that problem in the past. Just trying to avoid anyone else getting that same situation and having to open it all back up and clean it out. So make sure the edges of this are thoroughly clean, your gasket is clean, and the inside is hosed out as well. So I'm just going to take the hose, get it all cleaned up before I put the cartridges back in. All right guys, got that all sealed up and it went together just fine. Torqued it down nice and tight. Made sure that we got the cap put back in place, and make sure you clean that and hose that off as well before you screw it on. Make sure there's no gunk and contaminants in there that can cause any leaks. So should be good. Now what we wanted to do is move on to our next part, which is the salt cell. It's right there. We're gonna go get the tool, the pipe wrench, to open that thing up. All right guys, what we're gonna do is just open this up with a pipe wrench. This might not be the best tool. It's marred it up a bit, but it's all I have right now. If you have something that maybe won't scratch it up, that might be a better choice, but it's worked for me in the past, and so I'm just gonna open these up. They both just open up counterclockwise on each side, and I'll show you when it's open. All right guys, the salt cell came out super easy. Just came out very easy, quickly with the pipe wrench. This is it. Now the next step is we're gonna put the base on it and put the acid solution in it. All right guys, we got the base on it. You can get one of those bases right there. They're kind of handy, just from Amazon. It costs like 10 bucks. Totally worth it, especially if you're a DIYer. In here, I went ahead and mixed 50% water and 50% muriatic acid. And that's what we're gonna do to put right inside these salt cells. So I got it right here. And I'm just gonna slowly pour that in. See it just bubbling and bubbling and bubbling. That's all the calcium buildup that has accumulated on those salt cells. You want to set the timer for about 10 to 15 minutes and let it just do its thing. Don't touch it. All right guys, it's been about 10 minutes. It has stopped fizzing, so now we are ready to take out this water. Let's go put it back into our measuring cup. We'll just dump it back in there slowly. I don't want it to splash anywhere. So acid can go right back into the pool too, especially if your pool's out of balance. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. See, this base is super nifty. As you can tell, it just held all of that acid in there in place. And now I'm ready to take it off, give it a little rinse out, and then put it all back together. And then I think our project is done. So when I get it back in, I'll turn everything on, make sure it's all working properly. All right, that's screwed right back on, no problem. So I think that takes care of it. I dumped the acid into the pool since the pH was a bit off. So now what we can do is start turning everything back on. So let's take it off service mode. Okay, service mode is off. We can start turning our valves back in the right orientation. So spa can turn back on. And finally, this one over here. Okay. Now, as soon as I turn this one up, I can hear the filter filling up. So what you want to do is then go ahead and just turn the filter on, and don't forget about that little orange valve that we opened to release the pressure. turn the filter on, and we're gonna slowly tighten that back up. Tons of water filling up in your system and your pump here. And what we just want to do is just check our gasket. Just make sure there's no water leaking around. Right now it looks pretty good. Pretty happy with it so far. Let's keep looking around, make sure there's no leaking. No, I don't see any leaking. So right now I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. All right, Theo, I think we're done. Let's go take a look at the pool. So now what you're gonna see when you start going to the pool, it's gonna be bubbling and bubbling because all of that air was in there. So you're gonna see a few air bubbles, something you're not really used to seeing, but that's okay. Just let all that air process through and everything's just gonna be fine. And after that, your pool system's good to go and ready for the summer. Theo, you ready?
Yeah.
Ready to get in the pool now?
Yeah.
All right.
Right now.
See you guys.